Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, of course, known as Hump Day, December 4th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful week so far. Let's go ahead and hop into the transits for today, see what we have going on, see how you can navigate these celestial energies, right? All right, well, the sun starts at 12 degrees today. I think I kind of want to actually talk about 12 degrees and even 20 degrees, right? Just because it's something that I noticed that I don't really talk too much about. I always talk about the sun and what it does every single day. So I want to start off every horoscope now just talking about the sun and just breaking down where it is, right? And yeah, it's going to spend 30 days in Sag, just like it'll spend 30 days in any sign, right? Well, 12 degree Sag. Well, first of all, it's in Sag. So obviously we're focused on Sag things. Big picture stuff, belief in oneself, education, those sort of things, right? Foreign places, travel, right? This one isn't the decan ruled by Mars, though. So that's interesting. So we have some secondary influence from the sun, being that it is in the decan ruled by Mars. Of course, interesting enough, we have Mars over there in Leo. Oh, Leo. So the sun's actually dispositing this Mars. So it's kind of like a double whammy. And Mars, ironically, is in the decan of Leo ruled by the sun. So they're kind of influencing each other here, right? Coming off their trine with each other. So there's a Martian element to this. But we got to consider that Mars is moving incredibly slow because it's getting ready to retrograde here shortly, right? And if we look at the degree itself, 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 is Jupiter energy, right? Where's Jupiter? It's in Gemini. Getting ready to oppose the sun, right? And also, we will see the sun shift to 13 degrees, which will shift it to 1 plus 3 is 4, which is Uranus, so a more Uranian energy. So I would say from the sun aspect today, it is a day where I feel like we would want to have more power than we actually do, right? Being that it is in the second decade. Things are feeling like they're slowing down. And I think this is like where we definitely want to believe that something's going to change. We want to believe that something's going to expand and move forward. But then that Uranian element kind of comes in once that sun hits 13 degrees of Sagittarius, and we get more of a Uranian kind of influence, and it can make things a little bit weird. It can make things a little bit potentially even unstable, even though Uranian energy, it's an energy that can stabilize, but it's also an energy that can be unstable too. So this sun today, I feel like we start off the day in the early part of the morning having like these bright eyes, about the future and wanting to move things forward. But Mars, like I said, it's slowing down. Does not have the firepower that we want it to. It's a traffic jam. So then the Uranian element kind of comes in here too, right? Being the degree that it's at. And that adds this whole element of, our foundation, is it stable, right? With that Taurian energy, Uranus being here. Is our foundation stable? Is our money stable? Where is our self-confidence? Where is our self-worth? Even though things are slowing down or there's a traffic jam, do you have even the patience to be able to wait out this slowdown period? Because even though we do have some planets that are coming forward, right? Neptune is slowing down and getting ready to come forward, right? Pluto is moving forward, right? Saturn just came forward. Chiron is soon going to come forward as well. But these are all the more outer planets. It's the inner planets that are beginning their slowdown. Mercury's already retrograde. Mars is really slowing down. Venus, it's going to eventually retrograde, but it's moving decently fast. But that whenever you see Mars and Venus oppose each other, which is rare in of itself, but whenever you see them starting to oppose each other, that there's a retrograde around the corner. That Mars is retrograding and Venus is about to retrograde, or vice versa. So that's what this means. It means that we're about to start to see some energy start to slow down. We're seeing the external planets, which have more of like a wider influence, more societal influence, starting to turn on, and they're going to start speeding up. Though it's going to be a bit of a slow progress, but then our personal planets and things in our personal life are going to seemingly start to slow down. So we're going to have to see how, observing the things that are happening in the external world and seeing how does that apply to our personal lives. So like I said, the sun starts off bright-eyed, bushy-tailed with that 3 energy. 1 plus 2 is 3, so it's more Jupiterian. But Jupiter, like I said, it is in Gemini. It is going backwards. It's looking for answers, but it's not really quite getting them. Jupiter in Gemini is like this it's like this rambunctious kid that has all this energy, but they're having to be put into a classroom and they have all this energy and they can't really use it, especially with the fact that on this day Mercury is opposing Jupiter, right? Like it opposed it on Tuesday, but we're still going to be seeing this energy play out today. So talk about being all over the place. Mercury and Jupiter are despising each other. They're both retrograde at 16 degrees. 1 plus 6 is 7, so that's Neptune energy. And Neptune is getting ready to finally come back online. So talk about feeling in the dark. Talk about looking into a wall. Talk about just the overall fog of things. Talk about maybe having a lot of this energy and wanting to move things forward, but not being able to quite organize things, right? And that's the thing about this. I think this is about taking those necessary steps moment to moment, the things that are working out. But if everything's always up in the air and everything can always change on a whim, and if you're not considering any of the facts, then that's when things can kind of get weird. So the sun moves to 13 degrees. It can bring about a potential stabilizing energy, but at the same time, it can also bring about an energy where it reveals people's not being so stable. I was going to say unstable energy, but it's that it could reveal that, especially since it's the sun. The sun reveals what's there. So with it being at 13 degrees for most of the day, it can reveal people's unstable energy when it comes to how they act or play out their beliefs. It can show people's stability when it comes to that, and it can show people's instability when it comes to that, right? The moon here in Capricorn will be finishing up, and it will be conjuncting Venus on this day. It's going to be more towards the evening, so it's going to be around 7 p.m. or so, that we will see this moon on Venus. And this is kind of an interesting one. Why? Well, it is in sextile to this Neptune, which, like I said, is slowing down. So Venus can be really caught up in the illusion of grandeur and wanting big things and the status and the wealth and everything here in Capricorn. But is there integrity there? Does it matter? Is it something that is sustainable? Or is it more ego-driven? Is it more just driven by just the self or selfishness? That's the other thing here too. So just because this is a sextile, and just because sextiles are generally positive, you have to look at the energy around it. Moon, it's in detriment in Capricorn. Neptune is a tough planet to deal with regardless. It's a weird energy to deal with, right? Like it's the ocean. The ocean can go from being very still to chaotic in a matter of moments, right? So that's the thing about this. Emotionally, we're going to be kind of tapping more into this. We're going to be tapping more into the randomness of things. And since, like I said, since Neptune is slowing down, just think about it like this. Think about like a current that's just constantly going. It's constantly going. And then it's like slowing down and slowing down. And suddenly it's about to shift. Now that Neptune is getting ready to shift and go forward, all of that momentum, we're going to kind of feel that energy. We're still going to feel that, was it centrifugal? Is it centrifugal or centripetal force? I'm not a scientist. But we're going to feel that force. We're still going to be feeling it for a bit. So that's the thing. Even though Neptune is slowing down and maybe the lights kind of come on, we're still going to be a little bit woozy waking up from this. So the moon amplifying Venus's energy, sextiling over to this Neptune, can definitely bring up us feeling into the wooziness of life and how things can just kind of feel a bit wavy and how we're kind of it can really feel like jello. It could really feel like jello because there's not a ton of stabilizing energy right now. Let's look at some of that because that would be earth and air, right? From a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint. Taurus has Uranus at fall in Taurus, right? So that's not really great. Virgo, there's nothing there, right? Capricorn, it's Venus. And Venus is getting ready to conjunct Pluto and Ceres in Aquarius, right? Let's look at the air signs. Jupiter, retrograde in Gemini, right? Libra, South Node. Oh joy. And Aquarius, Pluto. Where, like I said, Ceres and Venus is about to conjunct here, and it's at conjuncting at 0 degrees Aquarius, which has seen multiple major transits over the last 3 to 4 years have been happening around 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it is a sensitive trigger point that's about to get triggered again, right? So that's the thing about this. The stabilization energy, it's going to be something that has to come from within. You can't seek it from an external source or anything like that. It's not going to come through a substance. It's not necessarily going to come through a thing. It may not necessarily even come through a person. It's something that's going to come from within. So for those people who are seeking comfort in this time, for those people who are looking for something to kind of hold on to, this, like I said, this is much more of an internal thing. It's much more of, the stabilization that you find within yourself when you are walking in your spiritual integrity. That's where you are going to feel the most stable. That's where you're going to feel the most success. That's when you're going to feel the most calm and at ease, because it'll at least give you the confidence that when things are seemingly going weird and crazy and things are slowing down in many ways, that you can be able to use that energy to help navigate you. That's your ultimate compass right there. It's not going to come from crypto. It's not going to come from, it's not necessarily going to come from a relationship. South Node's in Libra, so it's not going to come from a relationship. Relationships can help. I think having the right people in our life can most certainly help us. It can hurt us, but it can most certainly help us, but it's not going to be the end-all be-all solution for that we are looking for. It's not going to come through a relationship, right? It's going to come from your ability to look yourself in the mirror with all your insecurities, with all your doubts, with all your fears, and to say, fuck it, I'm going to live my life to the best of my ability anyways. And yeah, I may mess up, I may fall down, but I'm going to get up regardless. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter who I'm, who I'm in a relationship with. It doesn't matter how much money I have in the bank. It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. All that matters is that you look within yourself and you know that you are a divine spark of the infinite and that you can do anything that you set your mind and heart to. And nobody can take that away from you. The only person that could ever take that understanding away from you is yourself, right? So I think this Wednesday can be a very positive day. I think it starts off, like I said, where people are going to be probably more hopeful, right? But then it's going to get to where people are like, oh, am I really good? Am I really there? Am I really stable? Am I really connected? And I said that thing about Uranus. It's about connectivity. Am I connected? Am I online? Am I offline in some areas? You may find that you're online in some areas of your life, and you may be offline in some areas of your life. Maybe your connection is pretty good in some areas. Maybe your connection's a little bit spotty in some other areas. You're not going to be running on full cylinders all the time, right? Every planet's not going to be moving at its fastest pace. It's like not every planet is going to be moving at its fastest pace at any given time. Some are going to be moving faster. Some are going to be moving slower. And like I said, not every planet will be at its dignity at one point. It just won't happen. It just won't happen. It may happen, but I'd be on here for hours trying to find that shit, right? You can get close, but it ain't going to happen, right? So enjoy the diversity, the true diversity that life provides, the ups, the downs. I think another thing too here is that we have to learn how to be okay with uncomfortable energy, because energy is uncomfortable, right? Think about it. Mars is slowing down in Leo. It wants to move fast and pick up the pace, especially in Leo, and it can't. It's having to grind to a halt. That's uncomfortable. Jupiter is in Gemini and its detriment. That's uncomfortable, right? Uranus is in its fall in Taurus. That's uncomfortable. Chiron is in Aries. That's difficult because we're dealing with our insecurities, right? Saturn is in Pisces. That's a little bit hard because we're trying to find our footing in the place that has the least grounded energy because it's Pisces, it's in its mutable water, and it's with Neptune. That's not easy. Pluto is in Aquarius for the first time in all of our lives, unless you lived 200 plus years ago, right? That's not easy to do it. That's a major, major shift. That's subtle, but it's going to have major implications, and we'll see it as it comes about, right? This moon is going to be in Capricorn throughout the day. That's already difficult. And Mercury's retrograde in Sag. That's not easy energy either. The energy is inherently uncomfortable, right? It's inherently uncomfortable. And that's okay. Just because it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's bad. And it doesn't necessarily mean that even something is per se wrong, especially from like a mental health standpoint, right? Not everything that makes you feel uncomfortable has to, I guess, trigger your anxiety or your ADHD or your whatever and stuff like that. It doesn't have to, right? Life is inherently uncomfortable at times. And I think that's something that, especially those of us in the Western world, we have somehow forgotten. I think it's because we made our life so cushiony that we forgot that there is struggle to life. But through struggle comes growth. And that's really what it's all about. So let's go ahead and hop into the cards. Let's see what we got going on. I'm trying to keep this deck as smooth as possible in the way I shuffle it. I usually will bridge my cards or bridge my decks, but I'm trying to keep these to where, I don't have to do that for as long as I can. So, all right, let's see what we have here. Put that card behind and let's go. What do we have? I have the King of Cups. The King of Cups upright. So this is a good card. I think this speaks to the emotional intelligence to be able to navigate these energies. The King of Cups is someone who is in touch with their emotions but does not allow their emotions to get the best of them, especially with it being upright. So I think we can be empathetic, but at the same time still be stern and strong in ourselves, in the way that we approach things, in the way that we connect to other people without placating to other people's insecurities or fears, and playing into other people's delusions. I think that's the dangerous part about this, is that I think sometimes we can become, I'm going to say this, I'm not coining this either, but I feel like sometimes people can be toxic empaths, where they pretty much play into the delusions of other people and allow them to continue to dig holes just because that person doesn't feel comfortable confronting whatever shadow it is, right? We don't want to be dicks about things, right? But we also don't want to just continue to let people we don't want to just continue leading people to a river that is poisoned, if you will, just because they're thirsty. If it means having to walk a little bit further to a clean water source, and maybe it's a little bit more difficult to do that, then that's what you gotta do. I think that's where we are right now. I think for too long, empaths, those of us who call ourselves empaths, we have been leading people to water sources that could be cleaner, but we've been leading them to water sources that may be poisoned or toxic just for the sake of them having water. And thinking that, well, if so long as I just make sure that they have some water, that's better. Well, I don't know, honestly, if that's really the case anymore. We need to start leading people to better sources. We can't force people to drink, but at the very least, we can take them to a better water source. That's going to do it for your daily astrology horoscope. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. If you did enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful hump day. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.